Heh, you seem to be having fun. Watching the ice ancestral talisman exude an air of joy, Lin Dong smiled faintly. A bead of ice appeared in his hand. With a flick of his finger, the bead pierced through the void and struck the ice ancestral talisman directly. Get to work, Lin Dong said. Buzz. The ice bead collided with the ice ancestral talisman, which absorbed the bead instantly. As a clear light blossomed from the talisman, it shot toward a distant part of the sky. So the fragment of Huanhuan's reincarnation is indeed here, Lin Dong thought joyfully upon seeing the talisman's trajectory. Without hesitation, he moved, chasing after it. Who dares act recklessly in the territory of my ice spirit clan? Just as Lin Dong dashed forward, a stern voice echoed across the heavens, its resonance causing the icy landscape to tremble. Boom! The sudden shout made Lin Dong's expression change. Reacting quickly, he recalled the ice ancestral talisman. However, as the talisman returned, the space ahead of it shattered violently. From within the collapsing void, a hand emerged, reaching for the talisman. Before the hand could seize it, a shadow pierced through the void, intercepting it. The speed of the figure caused the hand to tremble slightly. Before the owner of the hand could react, Lin Dong, now holding the talisman, struck downward with a palm. The overwhelming power of the attack caused the surrounding space to tremble within a radius of 10,000 miles. A practitioner at the Earth Supreme level, the figure hidden in the void let out a surprised exclamation upon sensing Lin Dong's power. With a palm of their own, they met Lin Dong's strike head-on. Bang! When the two palms collided, both wielding Earth Supreme level strength, the surrounding space within tens of thousands of feet crumbled like fragile glass. Through the shattered void, Lin Dong finally caught sight of the person hidden in the shadows. It was a burly middle-aged man clad in a mink cloak. His aura, which caused the heavens to tremble, had undoubtedly reached the Earth Supreme level. Boy, where are you from? How dare you trespass in the Ice Spirit Clan's territory? The middle-aged man crossed his arms over his chest, showing no respect for Lin Dong, despite their equal strength. Where I'm from is irrelevant, but I can tell you this. I'm here to find someone, Lin Dong said, his gaze sharpening as he stared at the arrogant man before him. Oh? Looking for someone? The man's deep voice reverberated as his gaze locked onto the radiant icy rune floating around Lin Dong. Mastering profound ice. It bears some resemblance to our clan's heavenly ice divine seal. Yet, such a thing doesn't exist in the great thousand worlds. His eyes narrowed slightly. You must be from a lower dimension. Lin Dong was momentarily stunned. The man's keen perception had deduced his origins from the ice ancestral talisman alone. To have reached the Earth Supreme level at your age is indeed extraordinary for someone from a lower dimension, the man remarked. But people from lower dimensions only come to the Ice Spirit Clan for two reasons: seeking aid against the extraterritorial evil clan, or looking for protection to traverse the great thousand worlds. So, which is it? I've already said, I'm here to find someone. Lin Dong's impatience grew. If the man continued to obstruct him, he might have to consider breaking through forcefully, no matter the cost. Looking for someone? I am one of the 3 domain lords of the Ice Spirit Clan's outer regions. If anyone could enter the Ice Spirit Clan just by claiming to be looking for someone, what would be the point of my guarding this place? The man retorted. Is that so? Then let me experience the strength of one of the 3 domain lords of the Ice Spirit Clan. Heh, trying to force your way in, are you? You people from the lower dimensions really don't know your place. The Great Thousand Worlds isn't your lower dimension where you can run amok as you please. You've chosen the wrong place. The middle-aged man let out a cold laugh as he saw Lin Dong ready to break through by force. Boom! An overwhelming aura surged from Lin Dong's body, and at the same time, 8 ancestral talismans shot forth, weaving together in the sky to form a massive ancestral talisman spirit array spanning tens of thousands of feet. Within it, a heaven and earth array disk emerged. It was the core of the ancient heaven and earth array. The ancestral talisman spirit array, paired with the heaven and earth array disk, descended with a terrifying force toward the middle-aged man below. The might of the array caused the heavens to darken and space to shatter instantly. Heavenly phenomenon. Ice Peak. Faced with Lin Dong's formidable spirit array, the middle-aged man dared not hold back. With a grasp of both hands, the space above him twisted, and a massive ice mountain, spanning tens of thousands of feet, appeared out of thin air. It was a solidified form created entirely from spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Boom! The massive ice mountain descended toward Lin Dong to suppress him. Yet, Lin Dong remained expressionless, merely flicking his sleeve. The ancestral talisman spirit array roared forward, colliding with the descending icy phenomenon. The clash of these two destructive forces unleashed a residual shockwave that obliterated the ice layers across tens of thousands of feet below. The scene was utterly terrifying. However, as the ice mountain and the ancestral talisman spirit array collided, the middle-aged man's expression finally shifted. He saw the vast ice mountain being rapidly disintegrated into nothingness under the spiraling power of the ancestral talisman spirit array. Within mere moments, the towering structure of tens of thousands of feet was reduced to less than a tenth of its size. Within 10 breaths, the entire ice mountain had vanished. Boom! With the icy phenomenon obliterated, the ancestral talisman spirit array continued its descent toward the middle-aged man. Wherever it passed, all was reduced to a chilling void. Swoosh! Just as Lin Dong's ancestral talisman spirit array was about to envelop the middle-aged man, a beam of white light imbued with terrifying power tore through the sky from a distant horizon. It struck the spirit array with such overwhelming force that the array only managed to disintegrate a small portion of the incoming energy before shattering into 8 ancestral talismans, which retreated back into Lin Dong's body. Lin Dong's gaze shifted toward the distant horizon. There, a figure stood in midair. It was an elderly man clad in simple robes. What startled Lin Dong was that with his current power, he was unable to sense the elder's presence. There was only one explanation. The elder's strength far surpassed his own. A heavenly supreme. "Grand Elder!" the middle-aged man exclaimed, stunned at the elder's appearance. The elder was none other than the Grand Elder of the Ice Spirit clan, an individual equal in stature to the clan leader. "Qin Xiong, stand down. This man has risked everything to enter our Ice Spirit clan. He must have a reason. Besides, you are no match for him," the elder said indifferently as he looked at the middle-aged man. "What?" Qin Xiong was taken aback by the Grand Elder's words. How could he not be a match for this youth who was clearly from a younger generation? The Grand Elder, however, continued calmly. His strength has already reached the mid-stage of the Earth's supreme level. Lin Dong's gaze locked onto the elder hovering not far away. The lack of any discernible aura from the elder only made Lin Dong more acutely aware of his unfathomable power. The elder's figure flickered and appeared just a few feet in front of Lin Dong. The two stood facing each other in midair, their gazes meeting. Unlike Qin Xiong, the elder was not reckless. A mid-stage Earth Supreme powerhouse was someone the Ice Spirit clan would treat as an honored guest, provided he wasn't an enemy. "Child, why have you come to my Ice Spirit clan?" the elder asked, his tone calm. "I seek someone," Lin Dong replied, sensing the elder's amicable demeanor. "Oh? The Ice Spirit clan rarely interacts with people from the lower dimensions. Who is it you seek?" the elder asked with a faint smile. "My woman," Lin Dong said without hesitation. "Your woman is in the Ice Spirit clan?" The elder seemed puzzled. "You must be aware of the extraterritorial evil clan," Lin Dong explained. "In my dimension, we were invaded by a branch of the extraterritorial evil clan known as the Demon Clan. 2 years ago, in order to help me break through the dimensional shackles, she burned her own reincarnation." 2 years ago? Upon hearing Lin Dong's words, the elder furrowed his brow and muttered in a doubtful tone. If a reincarnation fragment of a woman from a lower dimension had indeed fallen into the Ice Spirit clan 2 years ago, and if this woman were still alive, she would have already been born by now. As the elder speculated, Qin Xiong, who stood nearby, also frowned. However, his reaction stemmed from recalling an unusual event that occurred in the central region of the Great Northern Realm's Mystic Spirit Heaven region 2 years ago. Though it wasn't considered a major event, its peculiar nature caused it to spread through certain circles, eventually reaching his ears. Yet, he hadn't paid it much attention at the time, and thus didn't report it to the clan's higher-ups. 2 years ago, in a certain location within the mystic spirit heaven region of the Great Northern Realm, the sky suddenly twisted. A radiant ice-blue brilliance swept across a radius of 1,000,000 miles, visible even from hundreds of millions of miles away. This ice-blue brilliance carried faint blue flames from another world, forming a 1,000-zhang pillar of light descending from the heavens. The bizarre phenomenon caught the attention of everyone within the mystic spirit heaven region. Some even speculated that a powerhouse had broken the dimensional barrier from the lower dimension to descend upon the great thousand worlds. To everyone's surprise, what emerged from the descending light was merely a small cluster the size of a human head. Within this cluster was a wisp of ice-blue energy, intangible and colorless, yet exuding an aura that seemed to pull one into reincarnation, a gateway to the supreme stage. This ice-blue energy immediately sparked fierce competition among countless experts, most of whom were at the peak of the heaven-connecting stage's triple soul tribulation but had yet to reach the supreme stage. They believed that absorbing this wisp of reincarnation energy would ensure their ascension to the supreme stage in the near future. However, before anyone could seize it, the cluster of light suddenly dissipated, leaving everyone dumbfounded. Few knew that on the very same day, millions of miles away on the Ice Spirit continent, a baby's cry broke the long-standing silence. A baby girl was born. Her birth coincided with the disappearance of the reincarnation fragment. Yet, no one in the Ice Spirit clan connected the two events. Haha, if your woman truly reincarnated into our Ice Spirit clan 2 years ago, I wouldn't mind doing you a favor and helping you find her, the elder remarked. If she is indeed someone who underwent reincarnation, her current appearance might bear some resemblance to her past self. Do you have an image of her previous incarnation? Hearing the elder's willingness to help and his amicable attitude, Lin Dong was overjoyed. He didn't realize, however, that the elder's friendliness stemmed from the Ice Spirit clan's diminished status compared to its ancient prime. During the ancient era, the Ice Spirit clan boasted 5 heavenly supremes and over a dozen Earth supremes. Now, it had only 2 heavenly supremes and 7 Earth supremes. While it remained a high-ranking clan within the Great Thousand Worlds, it paled in comparison to the superclans of the primordial divine clan. Thus, fostering goodwill with powerful external figures could help maintain the Ice Spirit clan's influence in the Great Thousand Worlds. However, the elder was discerning, choosing alliances carefully. In Lin Dong, he saw someone worth trusting. High in the sky, Lin Dong waved his sleeve, and radiant light spread outward, illuminating an area of tens of millions of miles, visible even from over 100 million miles away. This spectacle drew the attention of numerous experts who looked up in astonishment. Amid the brilliance, an image gradually appeared. At the same time, the elder's aged voice resounded across every corner of the Great Northern Realm. I, Bing Sangqiang, seek to help a friend from a lower dimension locate someone who has reincarnated within the Ice Spirit clan's territory. This individual is estimated to be 2 years old. Whoever finds her will be rewarded with 300,000 drops of supreme spiritual liquid. Bing Sangqiang's proclamation reverberated throughout the Great Northern Realm, stirring a wave of astonishment. For those below the 3rd grade supreme, the allure of 300,000 drops of supreme spiritual liquid was immense. Beside Bing Sangqiang, Qin Xiong, however, understood that this was more than just a reward. With 300,000 drops of supreme spiritual liquid, they had essentially secured a favor from a mid-tier Earth Supreme. Countless people fixed their gaze on the projection screen in the sky. The intertwining radiance gradually revealed an unfolding scene. Amid the collective wonder and curiosity, one figure's eyes subtly narrowed. He was Ice Sangqiang, the Grand Elder of the Ice Spirit clan. On one screen, in a corner of the Dao Sec sky, Lin Dong encountered a lively young girl with a ponytail, dressed in a striking red dress. This vibrant girl hailed from the Heavenly Hall, while Lin Dong had chosen the Desolate Hall. She teasingly pointed at him, accusing him of irresponsibility. Another scene showed Lin Dong sparring with her on a martial platform. She played her zither but was repeatedly struck by Lin Dong's palm on her lower back, causing her to jump off the platform. Flushed with embarrassment, and run to complain to her elder sister. Buzz, buzz, buzz. One vivid image after another appeared on the screen, captivating the audience. This girl's charisma was undeniable. Toward the end, the girl sacrificed herself to help a young man enter the dimensional shackles realm, burning her reincarnation in the process. Her actions moved countless members of the Ice Spirit clan, including Astonishing, whose admiration was evident. With a sudden flash, the light screen in the sky abruptly stopped and dissolved. In the ensuing silence, countless people exchanged puzzled glances. Yet, the girl's image had etched itself deeply into their minds. They understood that finding this girl would grant them a reward of 300,000 drops of supreme spiritual liquid. However, the girl in the vision was merely an infant, no older than 2. People had to imagine her childhood appearance to recognize her. This revelation sparked a frenzy within the Ice Spirit clan, as many set out to locate the girl. However, as the masses moved to act, a thunderous voice echoed across the realm. "Stop searching." Astonishing's commanding shout froze everyone in their tracks. All eyes turned to him. Could this grand elder be toying with them? Even Lin Dong was momentarily stunned by Astonishing's words. Was he reneging on his promise? But before anyone could react further, Astonishing swept his sleeve. Space behind him twisted, and a young girl's figure emerged. The sight of the girl made Lin Dong's pupils contract sharply. Though she appeared only 1 or 2 years old, her features were all too familiar to him. Her short black hair rested on her shoulders, unbound. It felt like a reunion spanning millennia, and an overwhelming surge of emotion washed over Lin Dong. Inside him, the ice ancestral talisman, which had absorbed the ice pearl, trembled violently. These signs confirmed for him that this child was the person he had been searching for, Huanhuan. The little girl, only about 1 or 2 years old, seemed disoriented by her sudden appearance in this setting. She looked nervous, but as she fell, a pair of familiar hands caught her. When she saw who it was, her anxiety faded. The surrounding crowd began to whisper. They recognized the child as Xun'er, Astonishing's granddaughter, born roughly 2 years ago. From the moment of her birth, she was revered as the Ice Maiden of the Ice Spirit clan. Among the 4 exceptional children of the clan, she was seen as the one most likely to become its future leader. Xun'er's status as the Ice Maiden stemmed from her unique constitution, harmonizing perfectly with the world. While others began their cultivation journey at the sensing or spirit-moving stages, Xun'er's starting point was the heaven-merging stage. Grandfather, Xun'er called softly, snuggling into Astonishing's arms. With him, she feared nothing. However, something caught her attention. Her gaze shifted forward, landing on a young man whose expression brimmed with intense emotion. Even Qin Xiong, standing nearby, was stunned. Lin Dong, a powerful Earth Supreme, now appeared more like a youth overwhelmed by sorrow. Xun'er stared blankly at Lin Dong. Though young, she felt a strange connection to this man, an emotion she couldn't yet comprehend. "Young friend, let me ask you this," Astonishing's voice interrupted, addressing Lin Dong. "Is this the person you've been searching for?" "Yes," Lin Dong replied firmly, his tone leaving no room for doubt. "She is Huanhuan's reincarnation." At this moment, Lin Dong's heart was filled with indescribable excitement, but he also felt a sense of relief. Previously, he had been deeply worried about whether Huanhuan's reincarnation fragment had entered reincarnation and achieved rebirth. If it had not, it might have dissipated into the heavens and earth, losing even the chance of reincarnation. This concern had driven Lin Dong's urgent search for Huanhuan's reincarnation fragment. However, the appearance of Xun'er now lifted a heavy burden from his heart. Presumptuous! Just as Lin Dong was reveling in his joy, the enraged voice of Ice Firmament resounded across the heavens and earth, shaking the entire world with its fury. The sheer anger contained within it caused the surroundings to tremble, leaving Lin Dong momentarily at a loss due to the sudden outburst. "What a coincidence. That woman of yours bears an uncanny resemblance to Xun'er. So much so that even their names are nearly identical," Ice Firmament said coldly as he glared at Lin Dong. "I initially thought you might be someone worth befriending, but I never expected you to dare covet the position of our Ice Spirit Clan's clan monarch. Creating these images must have cost you a lot of effort. You even went to great lengths to investigate everything about our clan and Bing Huan'er in such detail. Ice Firmament's words sent a jolt through Lin Dong's heart. Could it be that Ice Firmament believed Lin Dong had fabricated the images and concocted stories in an attempt to claim the future spirit maiden of the Ice Spirit Clan as his own, thereby positioning himself as an equal to the clan monarch? Lin Dong was left speechless and unable to defend himself. However, he held on to a glimmer of hope. Huanhuan had been deeply devoted to him in her previous life, so the reincarnation fragment must contain some memories. If he could awaken those memories, he could clear his name. Of course, Lin Dong could not afford to cause a scene in the Ice Spirit Clan. Firstly, he lacked the strength, and secondly, these people were essentially Huanhuan's own clansmen. I know you plan to exploit Huan'er's innocence and naivety, but you will be disappointed. Huan'er has been astute since she was young, Ice Firmament declared. Then, pointing at Lin Dong, he said to Bing Huan'er, "This man claims that you were his in a past life. Do you remember him?" "Grandfather, what does mean?" Bing Huan'er asked, blinking in confusion. "It means someone you spent your entire life with," Ice Firmament explained. "Like father and mother?" she asked. "Yes," Ice Firmament confirmed. The entire world seemed to hold its breath as countless gazes fixated on Bing Huan'er, waiting to see if she could recognize Lin Dong. Her response would determine the validity of Lin Dong's actions. Bing Huan'er stared at Lin Dong with a puzzled expression. After a few moments, her delicate lips parted, and her voice, amplified by Ice Firmament, echoed across the heavens and earth. Upon hearing Bing Huan'er's reply, Lin Dong froze in midair. Memories of a conversation he had with Ling Qingzhu several days earlier on a mountain peak in the Four Profound Continents flashed through his mind. It's fine if Huanhuan isn't there, but if she really is in the Ice Spirit Clan, I worry you'll cause a commotion. After all, they won't let you take her away so easily, Ling Qingzhu had said. That's not what concerns me, Lin Dong replied. Then what are you worried about? Ling Qingzhu's question left Lin Dong silent for a moment. After several breaths, he finally stood up and said, "The resonance from the Ice Pearl has been consistent. Even if I do meet Huanhuan, she'll be fine. As long as she's fine, I'll be fine. Don't worry." Now, Lin Dong's fears were realized. Bing Huan'er's answer shattered all his beautiful fantasies. Bing Huan'er shook her head. "I don't know him." Wandering Realm, Martial Realm. A week had passed since Lin Dong's temporary departure. During this time, the Martial Realm continued to develop steadily. The distribution of supreme spiritual liquid and various spirit artifacts proceeded smoothly. Meanwhile, the integration of the Four Profound Continents and the Heaven Desolate Continent had begun to attract the attention of neighboring continents. Subsequently, a piece of somewhat unexpected news reached Ling Qingzhu, the newly appointed Realm Master. Approximately 12 million miles from the Heaven Desolate Continent, a land known as the Nine Thunder Continent had announced its alliance with the Martial Realm. Within the Martial God Hall, Ling Qingzhu, the 9 Domain Lords, and others were gathered. Heavenly Thunder Hall, 9 Tiger Manor, Tongxian Tower, and Buden Sect. Why have you decided to join the Martial Realm? Ling Qingzhu gazed at the 4 individuals before her and asked. Among them, one was a 7th Grade Supreme, 2 were 6th Grade Supremes, and the last was at the peak of 5th Grade Supreme. If they were to join the Martial Realm, its strength would soar instantly. The Realm Master may not be aware, but the 9 Thunder Continent is a land shrouded by Black Divine Thunder. The constant descent of the Black Divine Thunder has turned the continent into a purgatory, entirely unsuitable for ordinary life. Only a select few powerful experts can endure the Black Divine Thunder and establish forces there, but even then, it's merely for survival. With the ever-present Black Divine Thunderclouds looming overhead, it's a terrifying existence, the 7th Grade Supreme among them explained. We've heard that there's an Earth Supreme-level powerhouse in the Martial Realm. If he can help us disperse the Black Divine Thunderclouds, we will pledge our allegiance to the Martial Realm from this day forward. Hearing the 7th Grade Supreme's words, Ling Qingzhu and the others were stunned. Having been in the Great Thousand Worlds for some time, they naturally understood the nature of the Black Divine Thunder. Without the strength of the Supreme Stage, it was nearly impossible to resist. The idea of such a phenomenon engulfing the entire Nine Thunder continent meant that anyone below the Supreme Stage constantly lived in fear of being struck down without warning. I once visited the Nine Thunder continent in my youth and have some understanding of that thunderous land, said Elder Huanhuan from his seat below. He looked at the four supreme experts from the Nine Thunder continent with a faint smile. The Nine Thunder continent is no smaller in size than the four profound continents, but its population is nearly 10,000 times smaller. However, if one were to average out the strength of everyone on the Nine Thunder continent, it would undoubtedly shock the surrounding continents for millions of miles. The average strength of individuals on the Nine Thunder continent is at the Heaven Transformation stage, whereas on the four profound continents, it doesn't even reach the Heaven Merging stage. Hearing Elder Huanhuan's remarks, many in the hall were astonished. It seemed that harsh environments truly bred the strongest individuals. Lindong isn't here at the moment. I'll discuss this matter with him when he returns, Ling Qingzhu said. She believed decisions like integrating forces from other continents should consider Lindong's opinion. Although Ling Qingzhu was now the realm master of the martial realm, it had ultimately been Lindong's vision that led to its creation, and his input naturally carried weight. The four supreme experts from the Nine Thunder continent exchanged glances upon hearing this. They had not expected that the Earth's supreme powerhouse would be absent from the martial realm. Did this mean they would have to wait a while longer? However, they were acutely aware that they could not remain away from the Nine Thunder continent for too long. The defensive lightning arrays they had constructed to fend off the Black Divine Thunder had lost power in their absence and could only hold out for a few more days at best. Who says I'm not here? Just as the four were beginning to feel disheartened, a clear voice echoed from outside the grand hall. Moments later, a figure pierced through the distant sky, landing gracefully within the Martial God Hall. As the figure appeared, the elders within the Martial God Hall stood respectfully and offered deep bows. For this person was none other than the founder of the martial realm, Martial Ancestor Lindong. Greetings, Martial Ancestor, Elder Huanhuan and the others said reverently. The four supreme experts from the Nine Thunder continent quickly dropped to one knee upon recognizing Lindong. They had not anticipated that this seemingly young man, barely in his 30s, would be the founder of the martial realm, Martial Ancestor Lindong. Although he was not the current realm master, his reputation far surpassed Ling Qingzhu, who currently held the position. Moreover, their very purpose in coming here was to seek the help of this martial ancestor to dispel the Black Divine thunderclouds from the Nine Thunder continent. They had been quite disheartened earlier upon hearing he was absent, but his sudden appearance filled them with joy. Lindong, you're back? The Lord of Life and Death looked at Lindong and asked eagerly, how is little junior sister's reincarnation fragment? Upon hearing this, Qing Tan, Ling Qingzhu, and the various domain lords in the hall turned their gazes toward Lindong. Over the past few days, Elder Huanhuan and others had learned of Lindong's journey from the lower dimension to the Great Thousand Worlds to search for the reincarnation fragments of a woman who had sacrificed herself for him. This story had deeply moved them. As the hopeful gazes of everyone in the hall turned toward Lindong, an inexplicable expression of difficulty appeared on his face. He swiftly changed the subject, directing his attention to the four powerful figures from the Nine Thunder continent. Why have you come to see me? Lindong asked, looking at the four supreme powerhouses. Seeing Lindong shift the topic, Ling Qingzhu and the others understood that his trip to the Ice Spirit clan had not gone well, so they refrained from bringing it up again. In the Grand Hall, the four experts from the Nine Thunder continent explained the current situation on their land in detail to Lindong. During the conversation, Lindong learned about the Black Divine Thunder, a rare divine lightning that only supreme powerhouses could approach. After some discussion, Lindong agreed to their request. He instructed Elder Huanhuan and Elder Red Ghost to collaborate in setting up a large-scale teleportation spirit array to temporarily relocate the population of the Nine Thunder continent to the Heaven Desolate continent. As for the major factions, the Heavenly Thunder Hall was merged into the mystic region of the martial realm. The Nine Tiger Manor was integrated into the Desolate region. while Tongxian Tower and Buden Sect were absorbed into the Illusory region and the Talisman God Hall, respectively. Over the next 5 days, more than 400,000 people from the Nine Thunder continent were transferred through the teleportation spirit array and redistributed across the various regions. Among them, the most discontented were those assigned to the Talisman God Hall. This was because the master of the Talisman God Hall, the Lord of Life and Death, was only a first-grade supreme, while 6 of the relocated individuals were at least second-grade supreme, with the Buden Sect master, Danjiuan, having reached the 5th-grade supreme. Naturally, they were reluctant to be led by someone weaker than themselves. However, the presence of Lin Dong, an Earth Supreme powerhouse, forced the Buden Sect members to suppress their dissatisfaction. The Lord of Life and Death also approached Lin Dong about this issue, suggesting that Danjiuan temporarily serve as the Hall Master. She believed that with her potential, she would surpass him within decades, at which point she could rightfully assume the position. Lin Dong merely smiled at her suggestion without offering a response. This left the Lord of Life and Death puzzled, though she assumed Lin Dong had a plan in mind and refrained from pressing further. 3 days later, on an icy mountain in the Tianxian continent, renamed from the 4 profound continents by Ling Qingzhu, Lin Dong sat cross-legged on a rock, gazing at the snowy landscape. During the dimensional baptism, he had learned that when he and Little Mink were forced out of the Eastern Mystic region by Wu Yuan's sect, the Ice Ancestral Talisman had responded to Huanhuan and returned to her. At that time, it was in a place similar to this icy expanse. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The sound of air being torn apart heralded the arrival of over a dozen figures from the distant sky. They landed on the icy mountain, their eyes on Lin Dong's seemingly despondent figure. From his demeanor, they could tell that something troubling must have occurred in the Ice Spirit clan. Could it be that there was an issue with Ying Huanhuan's reincarnation fragment? You're here? Lin Dong turned to glance at the newcomers. Among them were Ling Qingzhu, Lin Qingtan, Lin Mink, Lin Yin, Qingji, and the Lord of Life and Death, as well as his parents, Ying Xuanzi and Ying Xiaoxiao. Even though I know you may not want to talk about it, I need to hear the truth from you. What happened? Ling Qingzhu asked, looking at Lin Dong's tired face. What do you mean? Lin Dong deflected. Seeing him feign ignorance, Ling Qingzhu pressed directly, Tell us the truth. Has something gone wrong with Huanhuan's reincarnation fragment? Huanhuan is perfectly fine, Lin Dong interrupted before she could finish. If she's fine, you wouldn't be looking so emotionless since your return, Lin Mink remarked. Donger, Huanhuan is a good girl. From the moment your father and I met her, we've treated her as our own daughter. Don't beat around the bush. Tell us what's happened to her, Lin Xiao urged. Brother, let us know so we can figure out a solution together, Lin Yin added. If you won't say, we'll gather every supreme powerhouse in the martial realm and confront the Ice Spirit clan ourselves. Enough. Lin Dong's stern shout reverberated, silencing everyone. Don't worry about anything happening to Huanhuan, because even a heavenly supreme powerhouse can't touch her now. It's just that, Lin Dong paused mid-sentence. Lin Qingzhu and the others frowned at his hesitation, and just as they were about to press him for more details, Lin Dong finally spoke. She no longer has any connection to us.